Welcome, this is using trig ratios to find a side, the lecture. Here, the learning target is for you to understand how to use trig ratios to solve for a right triangle. Your two success criteria is: one, you need to be able to construct the trig ratio with an unknown variable, and two, to solve for that right triangle using the trig ratio. Here's our core concept review. You should already have this from the trig ratio notes. Sine is the opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, and tan is your opposite over adjacent. Please understand that this is all from the point of view of angle A. That's why this image is like this. There's a way for you to memorize these definitions. SOH stands for sine is going to be your opposite divided by your hypotenuse. Like you see up here, this they call this show. Then you have ka, which is cosine, is your adjacent leg divided by your hypotenuse. Then you have your toa, which is your tan, is your opposite divided by your adjacent. So people memorize this as Shokatoa, Shokatoa, Shokatoa. Shokatoa are your trig ratios. SOA, sine opposite hypotenuse, COA, cosine adjacent hypotenuse, and your TOA, tan opposite and adjacent. You're going to use your Shokatoa to match each trig ratio for the figure it describes. Here are your three examples. My recommendation is to always draw the person on your angle that you're looking for. So this angle is going to be 32. Then you could label it. Here's the person. The x is its closest side, so this is going to be your adjacent. Then this is to the far end of that person, so this is going to be the opposite. Likewise, we're going to put the guy here on the 26 for the middle one. The x is your opposite because that's the farthest. Then 14 is your longest, so this is going to be called your hypotenuse. Drop the person here again at the 26 degrees. Your y here is your closest one, so it's your adjacent angle. Your 14 is your hypotenuse. All right, so here you have opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent, that is going to be your tan toa, okay, which is going to be tan is going to be equal to opposite over adjacent. All right, so then the next one, you have your opposite over hypotenuse. That is your COA. So cosine, no. Opposite, nope, that's not right. It's not COA. It's show. Alright, show. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Yeah, show. This is adjacent and hypotenuse. That's your ka, right? So ka. TOA, right? Your cosine is going to be your adjacent over your hypotenuse. Let's see if that matches. Okay. Yes, that is your cosine. 26 degrees equals to your adjacent, which is your y, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 14. That is our TOA, our tan. Tan 32 degrees is equal to opposite 11 divided by your adjacent of x. Then the middle one, which is your sine, show, is your sine of 26 degrees is equal to the opposite of x divided by 14. Now we're gonna use that to help us out with our first example. This is to find the leg measurements. The question asks us to find the value of x. Round your answer to the nearest tenth. Here is our solution. Here we're gonna use tangent because we have our person here. We saw that x is your adjacent, 11 is your opposite, TOA is tan, is going to be equal to opposite over adjacent. That is the reason why you're using your tangent. Setting it up, tan of 32 degrees is going to be your opposite divided by your adjacent. Tan 32 is going to be 11 over x after the substitution. Multiply x to both sides. That's this step here. Then after you multiply it by both sides, you are going to divide by tan 32 to get it alone. then you get x is equal to 11 over tan 32. There's actually a shortcut if you don't want to do the algebra. All you have to do is you have to understand that this is a proportion, so this and this can switch spots. So all you have to do is switch spots between the tan 32 and the x. Okay, those are what are switching spots. Okay, that's how they got to this step down here. All right, that's essentially what you are doing. If you multiply, then you divide. All right, then if you plug that into the calculator, you have to use decimals. 11 divided by tan 32, you should get the value of x is approximately 17.6. So you could say that the value of x is 17.6. Example 2, we'll find a leg length again here. Here you have x and y together. Draw the person, so we know the angle. We know y is going to be our adjacent, x is going to be your opposite, and 14 is going to be your hypotenuse. So you're going to use sine for one and cosine for the other one. Here's the solution. You're going to use the sine ratio to solve for the x, because sine of 26 is your opposite over your hypotenuse. That is your show. The opposite is x, the hypotenuse is 14. You need x alone. Right now it's divide by 14, so you're going to multiply by 14. So x is equal to 14 times sine of 26. You get x is approximately 6.1. So you would say the value of x is about 6.1. You're going to use cosine to find the value of y. Cosine of 26 degrees is adjacent divided by hypotenuse. The adjacent is y. The hypotenuse is 14. Multiply 14 to both sides to get y alone. Plug that into your calculator. 14 times cosine 26 is equal to 12.6. That is approximately y. So you could say that y is about the value of 12.6. Example 3. Here you are going to find the value of u for number 1 and the value of t for number 5. Round your answers to the nearest 10. Draw your person here on the 65 degree. You would see that 8 is going to be your opposite because it is the farthest. U is going to be your hypotenuse, okay? Draw your person here on the 42. 5 is going to be your adjacent. T is going to be your hypotenuse. Here's the solution. So we have opposite over hypotenuse, so that should be sine. Yep, sine to find the value of u. Okay. Sine is going to be your opposite over hypotenuse. So sine of 65 is going to be equal to 8, which is opposite, divided by the u. Multiply u to both sides, so this can cancel out. You have u sine 65 equals to 8. Now you have to divide sine 65 to both sides. That's how they get there. Okay. U equals to 8 divided by sine 65. If you plug that into your calculator, you should get u is approximately 8.8. Here's the solution for the second one. Here you have adjacent and hypotenuse, so you're going to use cosine because COA. Cosine of 65 degrees is your adjacent over your hypotenuse. The cosine is 60. Sorry, so this is 42. This is supposed to be 42. Sorry. Okay. 5 over t. Multiply t to both sides. Cancels out. Okay. Now you still need the t alone, so you divide the cosine 42. Now you get t equals to 5 divided by cosine 42. So it's not u, it's t. T is approximately 6.7. All right, so there you go. Those are all your solutions on how to find a side using your trig ratios.